The police lights come on. In this scenario, you are prohibited from possessing a firearm, but your passenger is a lawful gun owner and the gun belongs to him. The problem is, it is sitting within reach. Whose possession is it? Ownership is the easy question. Possession is not. Simply being near someone else's firearm is not enough. Constructive possession is about control, or the right to control the firearm. If the passenger keeps the handgun holstered on their own body and never gives the driver control over it, that does not automatically establish possession by the driver. Now put it inside the center console. The driver knows it's there, controls the compartment, can open it, and can reach the firearm. That still does not automatically prove possession, but it gives a prosecutor a much stronger argument that the driver had the right and ability to control it. If you are prohibited, do not hold it, move it, or let someone store it inside a compartment you control. It belongs to my passenger does not settle possession. Now, before we return to the officer at the window, we need to know whether the firearm was lawfully carried or stored. So let's remove the prohibited driver and start over. You are legally allowed to possess the firearms. There is a handgun inside your vehicle. Can you drive with it in Oregon? Yes. But the placement can change the answer completely. The first split is whether you have a valid Oregon concealed handgun license. With an Oregon CHL, you can generally carry a loaded or unloaded handgun concealed on your body or concealed within your control inside the vehicle. Oregon generally does not recognize concealed carry permits from other states. Your Arizona, Utah, or Florida permit does not replace an Oregon CHL. That also creates the age split we covered in episode 1. An otherwise lawful 18 to 20-year-old cannot get the Oregon CHL yet, so they are still in the non-CHL vehicle lane we are about to explain. Now take the Oregon CHL away. Oregon prohibits knowingly possessing a handgun that is both concealed and readily accessible inside the vehicle. That gives you two questions. Is it concealed? And is it readily accessible? Under the driver's seat, hidden inside an unlocked backpack beside you, or covered by a jacket on the passenger seat can all create the same problem. Hidden and within reach. Unloading the handgun does not fix it because the statewide rule does not depend on whether the handgun is loaded. Without an Oregon CHL, the cleanest option is a trunk or other storage area outside the passenger compartment. If the vehicle has none, use a closed, locked glove box, console, or container. At the statewide level, a handgun that is plainly visible through ordinary observation is not concealed, but that is not a universal solution because local loaded firearm ordinances, restricted property, and unattended storage laws can still change the answer. Now you have followed the statewide vehicle rule and stored the handgun correctly. You are good everywhere in Oregon, right? No, because now you drive into Portland. Oregon allows cities and counties to regulate loaded firearms in public places, and Portland used that authority. Portland's code reaches firearm carried inside vehicles in public places, and clearing the chamber is not enough. The ordinance prohibits knowingly possessing or carrying a firearm in a public place while recklessly failing to remove all ammunition from it. If the firearm and its magazines are inside the vehicle, the ammunition must also be removed from the magazine. That means a lockbox can solve the statewide concealed and readily accessible problem while a loaded magazine still creates a Portland problem. An Oregon CHL provides a legal defense, and Oregon does not treat this like a parking ticket. Its code says that when the violation involves carrying a loaded firearm using gunpowder ammunition inside a vehicle, the court must impose a minimum sentence of 30 days. Portland also bars non-exempt people with a firearm or magazine in a public place or vehicle from refusing an officer's firearm inspection. Oregon CHL holders are exempt. That is why a handgun can be openly visible and still violate Portland's loaded firearm rule. Correct vehicle storage does not make every parking lot legal. Oregon school property provides an affirmative defense for a lawful possessor when the firearm is unloaded and locked inside the motor vehicle. Postal property follows the federal rule and the limited injunction discussed in episode 2. Unless the injunction protects you, locking the firearm in a USPS-controlled parking area does not solve it. Private employer lots create a different risk. If the employer owns or controls the lot and its policy covers the entire property, that policy can reach a firearm locked inside your personal vehicle. That is an employment or property policy issue, not automatically a criminal firearm offense. Now, let's say none of those traps get you. You are legally allowed to possess the handgun. It is carried or stored correctly. You are not on prohibited property. But then the red and blue lights come on behind you. Does Oregon require you to immediately announce the firearm? No, Oregon is not a duty to inform state. Keep your hands visible. Do not touch or reposition the firearm. Provide your driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance when lawfully requested. If the officer asks to see your Oregon CHL, show it. If you do not want to answer investigative questions, calmly say, "I do not wish to answer any questions." Just understand that the tone of the stop may change once you say it. Questions and investigative activity generally must relate to the reason for the stop. Otherwise, the officer needs a separate legal justification, such as reasonable suspicion of another crime or a legitimate safety concern. Do not create the safety concern yourself. If your registration is stored beside the firearm, do not reach for it. Say, "My registration is in the glove compartment, and there's also a firearm inside. How would you like me to retrieve it?" Then wait. Now, can the officer temporarily secure the firearm? Lawful firearm possession alone does not automatically justify seizing the gun. Oregon's officer safety rule requires reasonable suspicion based on specific and articulable facts that the person might pose an immediate threat or serious physical injury. If those facts exist, the officer may take reasonable steps to control the situation, including temporarily securing the firearm. If the officer tells you to keep your hands visible, stay inside, step out, or stay away from the firearm, follow the command. If you believe the officer crossed the legal line, the side of the road is not where you win that argument. That is what court is for. And if the officer asks for permission to search your vehicle, you can calmly say, "I do not consent to any searches." Being polite has gotten me out of more situations than arguing ever would. You can be respectful, follow commands, and still refuse a search or decline to answer investigative questions. And that is the real lesson of this entire Oregon series. Oregon gun law rarely gets people with the rules they know. It gets them with the next rule they never checked. So always verify the current law through official sources and send this series to the Oregon gun owner that's still relying on something they heard 10 years ago. Because in Oregon, the mistake is usually not carrying the gun. It is carrying the wrong assumption.